The story of Jonah, found in the Old Testament of the Bible, is a profound and timeless account that teaches about God's mercy, forgiveness, and love for all people. Jonah was a prophet, someone chosen by God to deliver his messages. But Jonah's story is unique among the prophets because it highlights his personal struggles with obedience and his reluctance to carry out God's command. Now let's dive in. A long time ago, there was a man named Jonah. Jonah is a prophet, and God loved him. One day, God gave Jonah an important job. Jonah, God said, I need you to go to a big city called Nineveh. The people there are making bad choices. They are being unkind and unfair. I want you to tell them to stop doing wrong and to do what is right. Now you might think Jonah would say, Yes, God, I'll go. But Jonah didn't want to go to Nineveh. You see, Jonah didn't like the people in Nineveh. He thought they didn't deserve God's help. Jonah was angry about the job God gave him. So, instead of listening to God, Jonah decided to run away. He thought, if I go far enough, maybe God won't find me. Jonah walked to a port where boats were waiting to take people across the sea. He found a boat going to a place called Tarshish, which was very far away from Nineveh. Jonah paid for his ticket and climbed aboard. When the boat set sail, Jonah went to the bottom of the ship and fell asleep. He thought everything was fine. But Jonah didn't realize something important. God always knows where we are. As Jonah slept, God sent a big storm to the sea. The wind blew hard, and the waves grew tall and wild. The boat rocked back and forth, creaking and groaning like it might break apart. The sailors on the boat were very afraid. The sailors tried everything to save the boat. They threw their cargo into the sea to make the ship lighter. They prayed to their gods, begging for the storm to stop. But nothing worked. Finally, one of the sailors remembered Jonah. They ran down to find him and shook him awake. Jonah, how can you sleep during a storm like this? Pray to your God. Maybe he will help us. Jonah sat up, and his face looked serious. He knew the storm was his fault. This is happening because of me, Jonah said. I am running away from God. Throw me into the sea, and the storm will stop. The sailors didn't want to throw Jonah into the sea. They rowed as hard as they could, trying to get the boat to shore. But the storm only got worse. Finally, with heavy hearts, they decided to do what Jonah said. They picked Jonah up and threw him into the sea. As soon as Jonah hit the water, the storm stopped. The wind died down, the waves grew calm, and the sea was peaceful again. The sailors were amazed. They prayed to Jonah's God and thanked him for saving them. But what about Jonah? He sank deeper and deeper into the water. Just when he thought it was the end, something incredible happened. A huge fish, bigger than anything Jonah had ever seen, came and swallowed him whole. Inside the fish, it was dark, wet, and smelly. Jonah sat there, thinking about what had happened. He realized he had made a mistake. He shouldn't have run away from God. Jonah prayed to God from inside the fish. He said, God, I'm sorry for running away. Thank you for saving me. I will do what you asked me to do. Jonah stayed inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Then God told the fish to spit Jonah out onto dry land. And guess what? The fish did exactly what God said. Jonah was free. This time, Jonah listened to God, got up, and went straight to Nineveh. Nineveh was a big city with lots of people. Jonah walked through the streets, proclaiming and shouting, "Listen, everyone, 40 more days, and Nineveh will be overturned. You must stop doing wrong things. God sees what you're doing, and you need to change your ways." The people of Nineveh were surprised by Jonah's message, but they listened. When Jonah's message reached the ears of the king of Nineveh, he responded with humility and urgency. Though he was a powerful ruler, the king did not ignore or dismiss the warning. Instead, he took immediate action to show his repentance and lead his people to do the same. The king issued a proclamation to all the people of Nineveh, urging them to join him in repenting for their sins. He told them to put on sackcloth, fasting, and turning from evil ways. They realized they had been unkind and unfair, and they wanted to change. They prayed to God and promised to do better. When God saw that the people of Nineveh had changed their hearts, he forgave them. He didn't destroy their city. God showed them mercy. But Jonah wasn't happy. He thought it wasn't fair that God forgave them. They've done so many bad things. They don't deserve your love. And he became very angry. Jonah went outside the city and sat down to see what would happen. While he waited, God decided to teach Jonah a lesson. First, God made a big leafy plant grow up beside Jonah. The plant gave him shade from the hot sun, and Jonah felt happy and comfortable. But the next day, God sent a worm to chew the plant, and it died. Then God sent a hot wind and a blazing sun that made Jonah feel very tired and unhappy. Jonah became so upset that he said, "I just want to die." God spoke to Jonah and said, "You are so upset about the plant, but you didn't make it grow or take care of it. If you care so much about a plant, shouldn't I care even more about the people of Nineveh? There are so many people in that city who don't know right from wrong, and even animals live there. Shouldn't I show them mercy?" Through this, God taught Jonah that his love and forgiveness are for everyone, not just a few people. Jonah learned that God cares deeply about all his creation, even those who make mistakes. He thought about what God said. He realized that God's love is bigger than he had imagined. God's love is for everyone, no matter who they are or where they're from. And so, Jonah learned an important lesson. Listening to God is always the right choice, and love and forgiveness can change hearts.